Everett Golson finishes with 259 yards passing in another incredible performance. 3 total touchdowns from him, and Notre Dame's defense started slow but forced 3 turnovers in the Shamrock Series win. As we now want to get to Pete Byrne with some post-game analysis, the sports director Pete Byrne live from Lucas Oil Stadium. Pete, the Boilers made it a game for a while, but Everett Golson and the Irish proving to be a little bit too much.
Good evening, Adam, or perhaps I should say good morning. This game getting over very late tonight down here at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. A less spectacular victory for the Irish tonight, certainly than it was a week ago, but ultimately mission accomplished as the Irish improved to 3-0. We just got done visiting with head coach Brian Kelly and several of the Fighting Irish players after tonight's victory over Purdue. I think sophomore linebacker Jalen Smith probably put the game in perspective best. When he was asked about the execution tonight, he said, you know what? It's really hard to win football games in major Division I football. And he said, and a lot of people tend to forget that. Sometimes they think it's easy, and it's not. He's right. Notre Dame made it look awfully easy last week against the Michigan Wolverines. They beat them more handily than they had in 30 years. And I think because of that, the expectations people had for Notre Dame grew tremendously overnight. And the result is the result is we expect a lot of this team, but you got to remember, it's also a very young football team. They have so many sophomores and freshmen that contribute. That was the case tonight. Notre Dame beat Purdue 30-14, but they had to overcome some adversity, and that was probably the one thing that Brian Kelly said after the game that he was most proud of. He said for the first time this season in 3 games, his team faced some adversity, and they overcame that. What was that adversity? Well, first of all, he said give Purdue credit. They came in here, they played tough, they played physical, they fought the Irish. Nobody gave them a chance, but the Boilers came to play, and they were able to hang with the Irish for a full half. Notre Dame missed some opportunities on offense. They had a chance to score inside the 3-yard line 3 times, didn't do it, settled for a field goal. They also turned the ball over for the first time this year, leaving Purdue with a short field. The Boilers capitalized on that. They only scored 2 touchdowns tonight. One of them was a 26-yard drive. So Notre Dame missed some opportunities. They gave Purdue chances. Purdue took advantage. As a result, you're left with a 17-14 game at halftime, and you're thinking, wow, what happened to the team that we saw last week at Notre Dame Stadium, and what's up with the Purdue team that looked so bad last week at home against Central Michigan, playing so inspired tonight? So Brian Kelly said give Purdue some credit, but he liked the way his team fought back from adversity. Physically speaking, they're very banged up right now. They lost Nicky Barati tonight to an injury. Amir Carlisle sprained an MCL. He had to leave the field with an immobilizer on his leg. We're not sure what his status will be. Cole Luke, cornerback, missed the second half of the game. He left with an injury. So did Andrew Trombetti. So Notre Dame was down several players in their secondary. They also lost Max Redfield to the targeting penalty, which forced him to miss more than a half of this football game. Despite being without all of those starters and having to play a lot of freshmen and sophomores, they were able to tighten up in the second half. They didn't allow a single point to Purdue in the second half, allowing them to pull away and ultimately win a fairly stress-free game. And now the bye week for Notre Dame comes at a very good time. They've got a week off before they head out to New York to take on a Syracuse team that won very impressively today. But the Irish will have a chance to heal up. They'll also have a chance to work on the things that they didn't do so well today. Again, missing opportunities on offense. Brian Kelly talked to me about it. So did Everett Golson. He said it's far from the best game he played, but ultimately the Irish are very happy to be heading back to South Bend 3-0, a quarter of the way through the season, still undefeated. They will regroup, they will heal up, and they will begin focusing on playing better football when they get back to practice next week. But the bottom line is Notre Dame beats Purdue today at Lucas Oil Stadium 30-14, and after a quarter of the season, Notre Dame is still undefeated at 3-0. Reporting live from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, I'm Pete Byrne, WSBT Channel 22 Sports.
Thank you so much, Pete. Notre Dame will get to rest up with a bye week next week. Then the Irish will be back in action September 27th. ND will take on Syracuse at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey.